Welcome, everybody, to Webinar Daily. I'm Kimberli Allen, CEO and founder of Everything Webinar. Today is a very special episode. I am going to answer questions that have come to me from a very special group that I'm now a part of, Portland Executives. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be part of this group, and especially because I provide the virtual presentation skills training for platforms like Zoom, which is what we're using today, WebEx, MS Teams, Skype, you name it. We provide the training and the human skills associated with functioning in this environment. You can imagine I have lots and lots of questions to answer from this particular group, and I've decided to answer them live in hopes that this might help some of you better understand Portland executives and why you might want to be part of this group, but moreover, answer general questions. Shelley came to me with a very good question that I think is affecting a lot of people these days. So, Shelley, I'd like for you to ask the question, and then I'll do my best to answer the question for you.
Great. Thank you, Kimberly. For me, one of the big issues with virtual presenting is eye contact. I never really know where I should be looking. It's uncomfortable because you're used to looking at someone face to face. So any feedback and best practice that you can give with regard to eye contact?
Well, that's a great question, Shelley. And I'd like to say this is Shelley Cooper from Occuscreen. She's actually the director of business development. And you know, if Shelley's asking the question, that their company has already put some thought into how do we successfully transition to the virtual world and how do we make that paradigm shift? So I'm actually really happy to answer the question for you and potentially support your company moving forward. Eye contact, as you can imagine, is key in person and virtually. A lot of times, what I find people doing when they're logging into virtual meetings is looking down at themselves. You can see that I'm looking at myself right now. I'm looking at Shelley. I'm looking at all the people that are joining in the gallery view. And guess what? I'm not making eye contact with you. Best practice is to find the camera. You should have a dot on your camera. Mine is actually green. Yours could be blue, could be red. Find the dot and look into the camera. Become accustomed to looking into the camera when you're giving a presentation or you're communicating instead of looking at yourself on the screen. Shelley, you want to go ahead and try that? I'll watch.
I'm looking at Kimberly, I'm looking at myself, or I'm looking right into the camera. It's just so awkward to look into the little dot because you can see things going on in the periphery, but it just doesn't feel natural.
Yep, absolutely. And that's just a timing and training issue. It's taking the time to train yourself to become comfortable presenting to the little dot instead of presenting to the screen because your audience will disengage from you. This is actually a bigger issue than people think it is until somebody points it out to you. You might not know that you're not engaging your audience at the highest level. Great question, Shelley from Portland Executives. We're both part of this amazing organization, and hopefully, this is a question that you may have had and you haven't had anybody to ask the question to, and this provides a resource for you. Find us online, everythingwebinar.com, or send an email to info@everythingwebinar.com. Happy to answer your questions. All right, this concludes the episode. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, I hope to meet you soon.